to think about the goodness of the Lord. He gives me everything I need and so much more. So I just want to lift my hands and say that I love him. I just want to lift my heart in praise. And I want to be thankful. I want to be grateful. I want to remember everything that the Lord has done. I want to be thankful. I want to be grateful. I want to be, I want to be, I want to be. I like to think about the goodness of the Lord. He gives me everything I need and so much more. So I just want to lift my hands and say that I love him. I just want to lift my heart in praise. And I want to be thankful. I want to be grateful. I want to remember everything that the Lord has done. I want to be thankful. I want to be grateful. I want to be, I want to be, I want to be thankful. I want to be grateful. I want to remember everything that the Lord has done. I want to be thankful. I want to be grateful. I want to be, 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 I want to be.
Good morning, Victory Kids Quest. It's great to see you guys. Happy Thanksgiving week. I know you guys are totally jazzed. Thanksgiving's coming up. You have a few days off of school. I'm excited with you. We love that we've been able to connect with you guys these last couple weeks in person and with phone calls, cards. It's awesome, you guys. We are so thankful for you, and especially this week of Thanksgiving. All of your teachers and your workers are stopping to think about how much they love you guys, they love your families, and they're so thankful to be a part of your lives. I'm glad you're a part of my life. You guys, the last couple of weeks, we've been looking at the Bible verse, Psalms 107:1. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. God's good all the time. Every day, God is good. And the last few weeks, we've given you guys some challenges to think about all the things that God has done for you, and how even in a time of a topsy-turvy life right now, things changing, even this week, some things may have changed with COVID. There's so many things, a huge list of things that we can be so thankful for, and how God blesses us and keeps us safe every day. He loves us more than anything. He provides for us. He forgives us. He's that good friend to us every day. Today, in just a few minutes, we're going to have a good friend give you guys the lesson. Somebody I'm really thankful for, and I know you guys are thankful for. So hold on with me for just a minute, and then you guys will have your guest speaker come up and give you a great lesson. Your challenge this week that I want to leave with you is this. I want you to think about saying thank you out loud. We've talked about writing notes to people who we're thankful for, or maybe giving them a little gift, or send them a little note, an email, a text. But this week, the challenge that I want to give you is I want you to say thank you out loud to not just the people in your life, like your family, your parent, friends, Grammy, your teacher, but to God. You know, we've talked about how sometimes we forget to thank God for the things that he's given to us. We talked about that last week and the week before. And this week, don't only thank God in your prayer time, maybe quietly in your heart or in your mind, but practice saying thank you to God out loud. God, thank you for this amazing family you've given to me. God, thank you for this food. God, thank you for the teacher you've given me at school. She works so hard. He's a great teacher, right? So that's the challenge that I'm going to leave with you guys before we have our lesson. And then make sure you stay with us after the lesson, because we have a fun, those little retelling, shorts that you guys like. We have one of those coming up, and we're back to Bible trivia, so you don't want to miss it. You guys, I love you so much. I want you to have a great Thanksgiving holiday with your friends and with your family, and we'll be thinking of you. I'll see you soon.
Hey guys, Mr. Nika here with another lesson. For today's lesson is going to be about being thankful. And now, as we all know, Thanksgiving is coming up, one of my favorite holidays. I know there's some split people between either Christmas or Thanksgiving, but I like Thanksgiving because of all the good food. I really like the stuffing, by the way. And And I really like being able to spend time with family and friends. Unfortunately, we're not able to really do that this year because of COVID. But you know what? There's still a lot of things that we can be thankful for. And now Miss Vicki gave you guys a verse a couple weeks ago, and it was Psalms 107:1. And now that verse was, give thanks to the Lord for he is good. And now we're going to be looking at somebody that realized that, yeah, God was good and was thankful for that, and he made something to help remind himself, but others as well. And now the guy that we're going to be talking about today is all the way in the Old Testament. If you guys watched my last lesson, he was in the New Testament. But this guy, his name was Joshua. And if you guys remember Joshua was the leader of the Israelites, of God's people. And he took over after Moses died, and he led them into the promised land. They took Jericho, they walked around the walls, and the walls came tumbling down, the entire song and stuff. And now Joshua is like, okay, this is great, God is with us. And God is like, okay, now time for your next step. I want you guys to keep on conquering this land, but you're gonna have to get across this big giant river called the Jordan River. And now this Jordan River wasn't some little shallow little creek that you could just like walk across really quick, but it was like something that was like, if you get swept down it, you're probably gonna die. And now Joshua is like, okay, there's no boats here, how are we gonna get across? And now God was like, okay, now the plan for this is that I'm going to have the priest walk in front, so follow the leader kind of style, and they're going to be walking in front with the Ark of the Covenant. And if you guys remember the Ark of the Covenant, if you guys have watched Indiana Jones and all that, absolute classic, I highly recommend it. And it's just a big giant golden box, and inside of that box was special reminders for the people of Israel. And now inside that box was manna, which was the food that God provided them in the desert, Aaron's staff, and also the 10 Commandments. And now God is telling Joshua that he needs to have the priest in front with this Ark of the Covenant before everyone else, so then everyone can get across the river. And Joshua's like, okay, like anything else? And God is like, okay, and also you need to camp by the river for 3 days. And Joshua's like, okay, that's easy. And so they tell everyone, and so everyone camps by the river for 3 whole days. And so they stay there, and then God eventually after the 3 days is like, okay, time to get everyone up, follow my instructions, and everything will be going as planned. Joshua's like, yeah, I got you. And so they have the priest up in front, with the Ark of the Covenant, and now this thing was like pretty big and heavy, and so they're carrying this thing, and they're like right by the river, and they're pretty scared a little bit, because it's like if they get swept by this, if they get out of control, they're probably gonna die in it. But they trust Joshua because Joshua trusts in God. And so they're like, okay, we got this. And so they're walking into this water, and they're going in. And when they get into it, the water stops flowing. And so the Ark of the Covenant actually made a way for them to walk across this river on dry land. And it sounds awfully familiar to another thing that God helped them out with, doesn't it? And now they get across, everyone gets across this river. And so the Ark of the Covenant, when it gets onto the other side, the river starts flowing again, and they're like, dang, like God's power just helped us out with this problem. And so when they're on the other side, Joshua is like, okay, can I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 of you guys to get a bunch of these rocks, okay? And I want you guys to get 1 rock each, so 12 rocks in total. And so as you can see here today, we have our own big giant rocks now. They had bigger rocks, okay? But so then Joshua's like, okay, with these rocks we're gonna build an altar. And now if you guys know, an altar is like kind of like this pillar shaped kind of column. And so they get everyone to start building this thing. So I'm gonna try my best right now to start building it. Let's see, can I build it, or is it all gonna fall apart? I'm not engineer here. There we go, I got it. Okay, so they set up this big giant pillar of stones and stuff, and by the end of it, Joshua's like, you know what, we're gonna set this here to not only remind myself, but also all of you guys of what God has done here today and helped us out with this big giant problem of getting across this river. And we're going to leave this here for future generations, so then they realize, what also God did for them as well, and they can also be thankful for it. And now Joshua set a reminder for himself, and that's something that we can also relate to, because we also set reminders for ourselves as well. We can write down our homework on a piece of paper. We have reminders on our phones. If you see your parents looking down their phones like, okay, what are we going to do today? They also have calendars for special birthdays, events, and stuff. And now we are just filled with reminders, because we can't remember everything. And now, so 2 weeks ago you learned about being content with the stuff that you have, and now today I want you guys to know that you should also be thankful for those things that you have, because some of those things might be stuff that other people might not have, and also may be more value to you than you actually realize. And so I want you guys to get out a piece of paper right now, and I want you guys to write down things that you're thankful for. And so this list can be super long, because you know what, I have a lot of stuff to be thankful for. And I want you guys to write down things that you're thankful for. And I want you guys to put it up on a wall, bedroom door, on a refrigerator, anywhere that you can possibly see it. And so you can remind yourself of how good God is to you. And now as we end this lesson, I want you guys to know that I miss you guys, and that I'll be seeing some of you guys in Zoom call soon. And I want you guys to know that I really hope that you have a great Thanksgiving and you have a lot of fun. You eat some yummy, yummy, yummy food. And I want you guys to know that I'll be seeing you guys in December. So hope you guys are doing well, and hope you guys are staying safe. So this has been the lesson, Being Thankful. This has been Mr. Nico Corona. Bye.
The Faithful Hall of Fame, Joshua. This is Joshua.
Hello.
Joshua was the leader of the Israelites, who God would use to take his people into the Promised Land.
Yeah, let's do it.
Joshua readied his people to cross the Jordan River, which was the only thing dividing the Israelites from the land that God had promised to them.
All right. Right here. Okay.
They camped beside the river for 3 days, waiting, just as the Lord had commanded them. At this time of year, the Jordan River was flooded and flowing with so much water that it was impossible to cross on foot.
And then the Lord said, let there be light. Hey, priest. Yes? Come on.
God told Joshua to tell the people that the priests would carry the Ark of the Covenant and lead the people through the water. He told the priests to step into the rushing waters.
Wait. Huh?
And when they would do this, the waters would stop flowing.
What?
And as soon as the priests did this, the water of the Jordan River did stop flowing.
Yeah.
And the priests stood with the Ark of the Covenant on dry ground as the Israelites crossed to the other side.
All right.
God told Joshua to send 12 men from the 12 tribes of Israel
Go get it.
to take 12 stones from the place that the priests were standing. When all this had been finished as God commanded, Joshua called the priests from the Jordan.
We're good. Come on.
As their feet left the Jordan River, the waters came back into place, just as they had been.
Wow. Yeah.
They brought their stones to their camp and set them as a memorial, so future generations might remember the story of how God brought his people through the Jordan River on dry ground.
Welcome to Bible Trivia. This time we'll be asking Guess Who questions. The first question for 100 points. In the Bible, this person builds a huge boat. Is it A, Moses, B, Jonah, C, Noah, or D, Elijah? The answer is C. In the Bible, Noah builds a huge boat. The next question for 200 points. He is a shepherd who used a slingshot to stop a giant. Is it A, Jacob, B. David, C. John, or D. Joshua? The answer is B. David is a shepherd who used a slingshot to stop a giant. The next question for lots and lots of points. They were thrown into a fiery furnace. Is it A, 3 Hebrew boys, B, 3 wise men, C, 3 Galileans, or D, 3 Babylonians? The answer is A. 3 Hebrew boys were thrown into a fiery furnace. The next question for 1/2 of a point. He delivered the 10 Commandments from God. Was it A. Elijah, B. Jacob, C. Moses, or D. Andrew? The answer is C. Moses delivered the 10 Commandments from God. The next question for 500 points. She is the mother of Jesus. Is it A. Mary, B. Joanna, C. Anna, or D. Esther? Esther. The answer is A. Mary is the mother of Jesus. The next question for supercalifragilistic number of points. He is Esau's twin brother. Is it A. Isaac, B. Jacob, C. David, or D. John? The answer is B. Jacob is Esau's twin brother. The next question for 1,000 points. She talks to a snake. Is it A. Eve, B. Ruth, C. Mary, or D. Joanna? The answer is A. It's Eve who talks to a snake. The next question for 1,000 points. He walks on water. Is the answer A. Matthew, B. Paul, C. James, or D. Jesus? The answer is D. Jesus walks on water. The next question for 800 points. He is a king known for his wisdom. Is it A. David, B. Solomon, C. Josiah, or D. Saul? The answer is B. King Solomon was known for his wisdom. Now the last question for double your current points. He was swallowed by a great fish. Is it A. Noah, B. Jonah, C. Aaron, or D. Adam? The answer is B. Jonah was swallowed by a great fish. Thanks for playing Bible Trivia. We hope you'll play again soon.